this session, or took up this session rather. So we welcome Dharti also, and I'm sure um, you know you will definitely enjoy this session a lot while learning. So thank you so much, Dharti, for uh, helping RMA today and all the members and the non-members today. And over to forum. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Parag bhai. Yeah, uh, the topic is secrets of lasting first impressions. So first impressions matter. You have only one chance to create a great first impression that lasts a lifetime. Our speaker is Dharti Rathod. She is CEO at IMARK Consulting and Training. She's a corporate coach and brand consultant, a speaker who carries a vast experience of 21 years in training and consulting and is passionate about transforming lives of individuals by enhancing their soft skills and image that leads and live a happier and successful personal and professional life. So, uh, thank you for accepting the offer. We have been waiting for you since a couple of months now to have you and take the session. Over to you.
Thank you so much for the warm welcome, and thank you, Forum, for the lovely introduction. A very good evening to all of you. Friends, as the topic said, I'll directly jump to the topic because as a trainer, I always feel that time is a very precious thing, and what we all have gathered for, we should be first focusing on that. Today here, I would like to share that since 21 years, I have been working with individuals at various levels through the organizations, colleges, with working professionals, with entrepreneurs, and it has been a wonderful experience to train them. So what I feel is that what you have talent in you, the capabilities, the abilities, and the talents, you should always spread around. The world needs a lot of positivity, the world needs a lot of hand holding, the world needs a lot of support and collaboration. So always have that attitude of whatever you have, you spread it across. I feel that I am so much interested into all these topics of soft skill training and image building and brand building that I took this as a profession, I took this as my passion, I took this as my work, and I'm learning, I'm implementing, and I'm also spreading it around. So thank you so much, RMA, once again for having me here, because I am again a proud member of RMA, and we feel we have a long way to go, and we are going to do work wonders in the field of management also. So yeah, coming to the topic is actually the topic has a lot of perceptions. Okay, when we talk about the first impressions, there are a lot of quotations, there are a lot of sayings about first impression. Some people say, few people say that first impression is the last impression, while some will also say that you will always get a second chance to create first impression, and first impressions are generally an illusion or a perception. But friends, let me share with you that first impression, is the image that a person creates about you when that person sees you. See, આપણે આ દુનિયા આપણી આંખોથી જોઈએ છે. સૌથી પહેલી વસ્તુ જે આપણી સામે આવે છે એ કોઈ ઇમ્પ્રેશન ક્રિએટ કરે છે આપણા મેન્ટલ પિક્ચરમાં અને આપણા ઇમોશનમાં, આપણા હાર્ટની અંદર. ત્યારબાદ આપણે નક્કી કરીએ છીએ કે આ રિલેશનશિપને કે આ બિઝનેસને આપણે આગળ લઈ જાવો કે ન લઈ જાવો. If you can chat in the chat box, where are you from? Okay, so let me share with you that I'm right now in Mumbai. I'm taking this session from Mumbai. So, I mean, I really want to know, where are you from? Okay, so you can keep typing in the chat box. Fine, so I will try to put it in English. I will try to speak in Hindi, so that I think Hindi is a national language which everyone should understand. And if anyone has needs a more clarity or more understanding of any word or any subject or any topic which we are discussing, you can always ask, you can always put it in the chat box. So this will not be a one-way lecture. I don't like to give lecture, I like to train people. Okay, so it is always a two-way interaction. I would be sharing something on the first impressions, and you may also share your views. We will have a question answer also part in the end. But yeah, that's how it goes. Friends, our attention span, as we are moving towards robotics and technology and lot of gadgets around us, the attention span of a human being is decreasing day by day. I would like to come to the point that it takes only 7 seconds for a person to create a first impression of somebody. First impressions are definitely the last impression. Okay, if you meet a person 10 times, but when you meet that person for the first time, जब भी आप उस इंसान को पहली बार मिलते हो, तो वो जो impression create होती है, वो आपके दिमाग में और अपने दिल के अंदर वो छप जाती है, वो imprint हो जाती है. उसके बाद शायद आप उस इंसान से 10 बार मिलेंगे, लेकिन जो फर्स्ट इंप्रेशन क्रिएट होता है वो हमेशा वो छिपा हुआ होता है, यहाँ पे एक प्रिंट हो जाता है, छपा हुआ होता है. So of course, first impressions do create a lasting impression, and it is very, very important to create a first impression. Because from the first impression, एक इंसान तय करता है कि इसके साथ मुझे आगे बात करनी है, नहीं करनी है, ये आपको सेशन अटेंड करना है, नहीं करना है. आपने फर्स्ट फ्यू सेकंड्स में, फर्स्ट फ्यू मिनट्स में आपने डिसाइड किया, ये सेशन आपको अटेंड करना है, नहीं करना है. सो एक फर्स्ट इम्प्रेशन है वो नेचुरली इम्प्रिंट हो जाता है और वो एवर लास्टिंग होता है. ज्यादा सालों तक वो हमारे दिमाग के अंदर या दिल के अंदर वो प्रिंटेड रहता है. सो इट इज वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टू क्रिएट दैट फर्स्ट अ ग्रेट फर्स्ट इम्प्रेशन. सी, कोई ऐसा पूछता, एक इंसान ने मुझे पूछा था, एक स्टूडेंट ने मुझे पूछा था कि क्या अगर किसी का फर्स्ट इम्प्रेशन अगर ठीक नहीं रहा तो क्या उसको दूसरी बार मौका मिलता है फर्स्ट इम्प्रेशन क्रिएट करने का. मैंने कहा इम्प्रेशन क्रिएट करने का दूसरा मौका मिलता है. आप अपनी इम्प्रेशन को इम्प्रूव कर सकते हो, उसको एनहांस कर सकते हो, लेकिन ज्यादातर फर्स्ट इम्प्रेशन रहती है वो हमेशा लास्टिंग और फाइनल रहती है. Why it is important to create a first impression, and why do we need to take efforts to create that first impression? That is what I'm going to talk with you today. See, we all are social human beings. हम लोग social human beings है. आज 5 महीने से हम सब अपने घर के अंदर है, एक स्क्रीन के सामने है, फोन के सामने है, लैपटॉप के सामने है, और जो टेक्नोलॉजी है, प्लेटफॉर्म्स है, उसके ऊपर हम एक दूसरे को मिलते हैं, बातें करते हैं, सीखते हैं और देखते हैं. लेकिन एक सोशल ह्यूमन बीइंग होता है जिसको मतलब वी वांट टू मीट पीपल, वी वांट टू इंटरैक्ट, एंड वी वांट दैट पीपल शुड एक्सेप्ट अस. हमारे लिए किसी को हमको एक्सेप्ट करना एज अ पर्सन, एज अ इंडिविजुअल, वो बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट होता है. जब हम नया जॉब शुरू करते हैं या नया काम शुरू करते हैं तो हम चाहते हैं कि हमारी टीम हमको एक्सेप्ट करे. कहीं हम नई ग्रुप में जाते हैं तो हम चाहते हैं कि वो ग्रुप में हमारी एक्सेप्टेंस हो. सो उस एक्सेप्टेंस के लिए हमें इम्प्रेशन के ऊपर काम करना रहता है. इंसान को सिर्फ 7 सेकंड लगते हैं. मैं फिर से बताऊंगी, ओनली एंड ओनली 7 सेकंड्स, व्हिच इज नथिंग, इट इज जस्ट फ्रैक्शन ऑफ सेकंड. 7 सेकंड्स लगते हैं एक इम्प्रेशन क्रिएट करने में. सबसे पहली चीज, सबसे पहली नजर उनकी जाती है, वो जाती है उनके, देयर आर 3 थिंग्स व्हिच वी हैव टू वर्क, ओनली 3 थिंग्स which we have to work to create a great first impression. Okay, wherever you go, okay, your first approach or your first image or your first expression should always be great. फ्रेंड्स, हमने सीखा है कि जहाँ पे हम जाते हैं उस हिसाब से हमको तैयार होके भी जाना होता है, उस हिसाब से हमको प्रिपरेशन करके जानी होती है. दैट इज ऑल फर्स्ट इम्प्रेशन. कि अगर हम शादी में घर के कपड़े पहन के जाते हैं तो वी आर नॉट क्रिएटिंग अ गुड इम्प्रेशन. लेट मी टेल यू वन मोर थिंग. एक थोड़ी सी क्या कहते हैं, एक अजम्पशन है कि फर्स्ट इम्प्रेशन इंसान की एक ही बार बनती है. मैंने ऐसा देखा है, मैंने ऐसा स्टडी किया है, और मेरी स्टडी ये कहती है, जो मैंने समझा है, कि you create impressions every time you meet a person. Okay, your first impression is last impression, but every time you keep on creating an impression. अगर आज मीटिंग के अंदर हम बन ठन के तैयार होके एकदम प्रॉपर टू द मीटिंग गए और दूसरी बार हम नहीं जाते हैं, तो वो दूसरी बार भी हमारा इम्प्रेशन क्रिएट होता है. वी आर मेकिंग आवर इम्प्रेशन वंस अगेन. So every walk of life, every step of life, wherever we go, whatever we do, we are creating impressions all the time. And there are 3 factors, there are 3 main aspects, there are 3 areas which creates that impression. और जब ये तीनों एरिया पे काम होता है अच्छी तरह से, तो एक अच्छा एवरलास्टिंग ग्रेट इम्प्रेशन बनता है. अमिताभ बच्चन को आप देख लीजिए, a superb example of great first impression. Okay, शाहरुख खान को देख लीजिए, जब वो स्टेज पे आता है कि सी शाहरुख खान ऑन द स्टेज, okay? तो उसके सब एरियाज पे उसने काम किया होता है. Okay, so which are the three things on which we have to work to create this lasting impression? Number one is the appearance. Okay, हम किसी को जब देखते हैं तो उसका आउटर अपीयरेंस देखते हैं, उसका चेहरा देखते हैं, उसकी बॉडी देखते हैं, उसके क्या कपड़े पहने हैं वो देखते हैं, कैसे कपड़े पहने हैं वो देखते हैं, कपड़ों का कलर क्या है, उसका टेक्सचर क्या है, वो प्रॉपरली आयर्न है कि नहीं, वो अकेजन को सूटेबल करता है कि नहीं, वो कहाँ पे आया है, कैसे आया है, तो पूरा हम लोग उसको देखते हैं. सो द फर्स्ट थिंग अ पर्सन सीज इज योर अपीयरेंस. नाउ appearance will have a lot of factors. See, if you're wearing a branded shirt, if you're wearing a branded trouser and your hair is not trimmed, then you get a minus mark. Okay, if you are hygiene but you are not wearing clothes which are appropriate to that occasion, function, or that meeting or your profession, then again it creates a minus mark. So overall, how do you appear? See, सुंदर होना या handsome होना ये बात नहीं हो रही है. Okay, आप appealing हो कि नहीं, आप graceful हो कि नहीं, that is important. Okay, so your appearance will count from top to toe, from head to toe, whether that comes your grooming, that comes the hygiene part, that comes the clothes part, and everything which is seen as a person from outside. Okay, आपने कैसे कपड़े पहने हैं, उसके साथ जूते कैसे पहने हैं. अमिताभ बच्चन ने लास्ट केबीसी में एक इम्प्रेशन क्रिएट करने के लिए उन्होंने एक चीज की थी. किसी को याद है? कोई चैट बॉक्स में लिख सकता है क्या उसने स्पेशल किया था? If you want to write it down, or you can unmute yourself and share it with me. He had done one thing to create a different image of himself. Okay, a different क्या कहते हैं, impression of himself. क्या किया था उसने? उसने हर एक एपिसोड में कलर्ड सॉक्स पहने थे. देखिए, अलग अलग कलर्स के सॉक्स पहने थे. कभी उसने येलो पहना था, कभी पर्पल पहना था, कभी पिंक पहना था. जी हाँ, इट इज वेरी वियर्ड एंड इट इज वेरी सरप्राइजिंग, बट उस एपिसोड के लिए, उस सीजन के लिए, ही वांटेड टू क्रिएट अ डिफरेंट इम्प्रेशन अबाउट हिमसेल्फ. वो सोच के उसने किया था. राइट, सो हाउ योर अपीयरेंस मैटर. जब नरेंद्र मोदी जी सीएम में से प्राइम मिनिस्टर बने तो आपने देखा होगा कि उसका पूरा जो आउटर अपीयरेंस है, क्लोथिंग है, उसके ऊपर उन्होंने बहुत काम किया था और पूरा वो चेंज हो गया. नाउ वी हैव मोदी कोटी. डिड वी हैव मोदी कोटी बिफोर 4 years? नहीं, हम कोटी कोटी बोलते थे लेकिन मोदी कोटी नहीं बोलते थे. अब ये उसका एक ब्रांड बन गया है, उसका एक नाम बन गया है. दैट इज अ फैशन आइकन, एक फैशन आइकन बन गया है मोदी कोटी. सो क्या है, एक इम्प्रेशन, एक इमेज क्रिएट किया गया है. सो व्हेन यू थिंक ऑफ अ मोदी कोटी, सबसे पहले आपको जो याद आएगा वो नरेंद्र मोदी होगा. सो हाउ थिंग्स रिलेट. सिर्फ आपके कपड़े नहीं, जूते कैसे हैं, what footwear we wear, what accessories we wear, which kind of bags we use, which kind of phones we use, how we use it, how do we maintain it, everything counts on your outer appearance. Okay, and we all know that outer appearance do matter a lot. When we go for a shopping, we always see the outer appearance of a particular cloth. Then we touch it, we see the price, we see the quality, we see the wash care, उसको कैसे ध्यान रखना है, क्या करना है, वो हम बाद में देखते हैं. पहले वो चीज हमें जो अपील करती है उसको ही हम जाके लेते हैं. There are 10 shirts in a row. Okay, we will pick up only one shirt to see कि उसका क्वालिटी कैसा है, कि उसका फील कैसा है, देन उसका प्राइस कैसा है. ओनली बिकॉज 10 में से किसी एक ने हमको अपील किया. There was only one shirt which appealed to us. Maybe उसका finishing अच्छा होगा, maybe उसका cut अच्छा होगा, maybe उसका color अच्छा होगा. But the outer appearance did matter for us to take one more step on a decision making, whether we want to buy this shirt or we don't want to buy this shirt. Same is with us. Okay, एक हमारी बिजनेस मीटिंग होती है तो हम किसी को, नए क्लाइंट हैं हम लोग, ओके, नए वेंडर को मिलते हैं, आया है और उसने क्या पहना हुआ है, सबसे पहली नजर हमारी वहां पे जाती है. वी ऑलवेज सी व्हाट द पर्सन इज वेयरिंग. ओके, इफ द पर्सन इज वेयरिंग समथिंग व्हिच इज नॉट सुटेबल फॉर अ मीटिंग, व्हाट डू? वी गिव अ माइनस मार्क. हमारे मेंटल इमेज में, हमारे मेंटल इंप्रेशन में हमने उसको एक माइनस मार्क ऑलरेडी दे दिया है. So our overall appearance of a person makes an everlasting impression. Okay, this is an art and science of creating a first impression. First impression कैसे बनाना है वो एक art and science है, वो सीखा जा सकता है. It can be learned, it can be acquired. It is an acquired skill. It can be acquired, it can be learned, and it can be implemented. Okay, appearance also shows, has an importance ki what kind of clothes are you wearing. Now wearing a branded clothes only does not mean that you look professional or you look prim and proper, but the fit of the clothes. Okay, which clothes are you wearing, which color, uska fit kya hai, aapko khud ko suit hota hai ki nahi hota hai, आपके बजट में आता है कि नहीं आता है, उसको आप कैरी कैसे करते हो. सभी लोगों को, सबकी हाइट अलग है, सबके बॉडी स्ट्रक्चर्स अलग है, सभी लोगों को सभी चीजें अच्छी नहीं लगती है. हम ज्यादातर क्या करते हैं, उसने ये पहना, उसने उसको अच्छा लग रहा है, हम सोचते हैं हमको भी अच्छा लगेगा, and we buy those things and we wear it. But the point is, maybe we are not comfortable. Okay, there are people who are not comfortable in blazers, but still they wear blazers and they are uncomfortable inside it. So there are two things we can do. Number one, कि हम ब्लेजर कैसे उसको कैरी करते हैं, कैसे पहनते हैं, वो हम सीखे. और उसके बाद उसके अंदर कंफर्ट कैसे हो सकता है, उसमें कंफर्टेबल कैसे रह सकते हैं, 4 घंटे, 6 घंटे, 8 घंटे उसके अंदर हम कैसे कंफर्टेबल रह सकते हैं, वो आर्ट एंड साइंस हम सीखे. दोनों चीज हम सीख सकते हैं. So whenever we are talking about creating an impression, the first thing is your outer appearance. What kind of, how do you appear? आप दिखते कैसे हो? I will again share with you, my friends, that it is not necessary that you should be the most handsome man in the world or you should be the most beautiful woman in the world. We are not talking about the outer beauty. We are talking about the appearance. How do you appear? Are you appealing? Are you graceful? Are you groomed? Okay, that is known as the appearance. आपको, आपने जो पहना है वो आपको सूट होता है कि नहीं. बिकॉज अगर आपको सूट नहीं होगा ना, तो आप अनकंफर्टेबल रहोगे. आप अनकंफर्टेबल रहोगे तो कुछ ना कुछ मीटिंग में गलतियां करते रहोगे, कहीं ना कहीं कुछ ना कुछ गलतियां हम करते रहेंगे. इट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टू अंडरस्टैंड कि हम कहाँ पे क्या पहन के जाते हैं. देखिए, जहाँ पे ब्लेजर नहीं पहनना है वहां अगर हम ब्लेजर पहन के गए तो क्या दिखेगा कि वी आर शोइंग एन अथॉरिटी. ब्लेजर इज द हाईएस्ट अथॉरिटी. ओके, जब आपको अथॉरिटी दिखानी है, जब आप एमडी हो, सीईओ हो, चेयरमैन हो किसी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के, और जहाँ पे आपको वो रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी निभानी है, दैट टाइम यू शुड बी वेयरिंग अ blazer. We cannot be wearing a blazer and talking to a peon. Yes, it may surprise you, but this is all art and science. Okay, जब हम ब्लेजर पहनते हैं तो उसका लपेल होता है, उसका कॉलर होता है. It creates a different impression. Okay, when we go for a picnic, हम लोग क्या पहन के जाते हैं? हम लोग ट्राउजर्स, कॉटन ट्राउजर्स या ट्रैक पैंट्स या उसके साथ टी शर्ट्स पहन के जाते हैं, बिकॉज दे आर ऑल कैजुअल वेयर्स. Okay, but which color, which material does it suit you? कि वो ऑल सीजन है, कौन से सीजन का है, वो हमको देख के चलना पड़ता है. और सबसे ज्यादा इम्पोर्टेंट कि वो मुझे सूट होता है कि नहीं होता है. इफ इट इज नॉट सूटिंग यू, कितना भी वो अच्छा हो, कितनी भी अच्छी ब्रांड हो, कितना भी हमको ब्रांड का क्रेज हो, लेकिन अगर हम वो लेके पहनेंगे और अगर हमको वो सूट नहीं होता है, तो हम बिल्कुल भी अपीलिंग नहीं रहेंगे, बिल्कुल भी ग्रेसफुल नहीं रहेंगे. So your outer appearance counts a lot, plus your overall body grooming. Okay, your trimming of hair or everything which is shoes polish है कि नहीं, very important. I have seen a lot of men कि जो ऊपर blazer पहना होता है लेकिन the shoes are not polished. Okay, what kind of accessories do we use? इतना पुराना लैपटॉप बैग रहेगा, इतना पुराना ऑफिस बैग रहेगा हमारा, तो कैसे कर सकते हैं कि सूट वूट टाई वाई पहन के हम इतनी पुरानी चीज लेके चल रहे हैं? What kind of impression does it create? Many times we go into a good hotels for lunch and dinner, we take plastic bags with us. Okay, तो हम कहाँ पे क्या क्रिएट करते हैं, इंटरव्यू में जाते हैं तो कैसे इंप्रेशन क्रिएट करते हैं, एवरीथिंग मैटर्स अ लॉट. Sorry, I was just receiving a call. Your appearance also matters because that is a perception people make about you. Okay, when you are not supposed to wear a blazer, I just stick to blazer because it is a working professional, because it is entrepreneur's wardrobe, it is an outfit. That's why I'm giving you this example, because we are all from we all share and we all understand this particular example. Okay, now we are not meant to do that, and if you do that, तो क्या करते हैं, क्या होता है, हम लोग out of the group हो जाते हैं. हमको out of the box सोचना है, हमको creative सोचना है, but we don't want to be out of the group. We want to be inclusive the group. We want to be inside the group. We want to work together. So number one, work on your outer appearance. Very, very important. Do not neglect it at all. कुछ भी नहीं चलता, सब पे मेहनत करनी पड़ती है. We have to work on it. Okay, that is first thing which we have to see. I have also seen many people who sometimes underdress, एक step down होते हैं. मतलब कभी पता ही नहीं चलता है कि एग्जीक्यूटिव है, मैनेजर है, कि कंपनी का सीईओ है, कि कंपनी का एमडी है, because they all dress same. Okay, so there is level of dressing also, and it is again to it is related to your role and responsibilities. आप कौन सी designation में है, आपका role क्या है, और आपकी responsibility क्या है, उस हिसाब से हमको वो appearance create करना है. Okay, so उसमें basic grooming, hygiene, वो तो हमारा रूटीन है ही है. Okay, उसके अलावा जो कपड़े हैं, they are again occasional, कहाँ पे हम जाते हैं, कैसे करते हैं. So very very important that we work on our हमारा skin tone, हमारी body shape, हमारा hair color, हमारा आंखों का जो कलर है, वो whether it is suiting, whether it is in sync, or it is creating a lot of clash. See, वो अगर सूट नहीं होगा ना, तो क्लैश होगा तो क्या होगा, लोगों को देखना पसंद नहीं आएगा, राइट. और अगर देखना पसंद नहीं आता है, तो आपके साथ काम कैसे करेंगे, आपके साथ बात कैसे करेंगे. They will also feel uncomfortable over their own selves. Okay, a lot of people ask me to put a virtual background behind. I don't put it because it creates a lot of distraction. उसमें मैं थोड़ा भी ऐसे से हिलूंगी तो it creates some kind of illusion over there. Okay, that is also creating an impression. So we have to be very very careful on what we are wearing and how we are wearing. Okay, what we are wearing, and remember how are we wearing. So art and science of dressing, of your appearance, will help you to create a great first impression. Okay, number two, the second aspect, which is a very important aspect again, is the behavior. How do we behave? आज भी 7 स्टार्स में, 5 स्टार्स में जब कॉन्फ्रेंसेस होती है, अलग अलग एसोसिएशंस की कॉन्फ्रेंसेस होती है, तो हम क्यू में खड़े रहते हैं कि हम क्यू को बाईपास करके, किसी को बाईपास करके आगे चले जाते हैं. व्हाट डू वी डू? दिस इज ऑल बिहेवियर. हाउ डू वी बिहेव? ओके, पीपल बिहेव इन डिफरेंट वे इन डिफरेंट ओकेजन्स. इतनी सारी पर्सनालिटीज एक इंसान के अंदर कैसे आ सकती है? I mean, let's be real, let's be graceful, and let's be honest first with our own self and then with the others. See, we cannot behave with others nicely if we are not behaving with us properly. Okay, I always believe in one line which I have heard. जब मैं बहुत छोटी थी तब मैंने वो line सुनी थी और उसके बाद पढ़ी भी है कि आप कौन हो? Who you are? Who am I? Okay. So I, as in hum sab, every one of us. Okay. So I am somebody who I am when nobody is watching me. जब मुझको पता है कि कोई मुझे नहीं देख रहा है, मतलब nobody is around me, कोई मुझे नहीं देख रहा है, और तब मैं जैसी हूँ, that is my real character. हम छुप छुप के तो बहुत सारे गलत काम कर लेते हैं, लेकिन जो इंसान honest है सबसे पहले तो खुद के साथ, that is a real person. Okay. How do we behave with others? That is very important, friends. People will always remember how you treat them. आप उसको कितने भी अच्छे लैंग्वेज में बात करेंगे, अगर वो दिल से सच्ची नहीं निकलेगी, it will not be honest, then people are not going to buy it. Okay. जब लोग हमारे घर पे आते हैं या हमारी मीटिंग्स में आते हैं या कहीं भी सोशल फंक्शंस में हम लोग मिलते हैं, तो उसको हम कैसे फील करवाते हैं, that is very very important. How do we make them feel? Okay, I see a lot of families के अंदर जब हम business dinner या lunch के लिए किसी के घर पे जाते हैं, so they behave very good with us. Okay, but उनके parents के साथ वो इतना rudely बात करते हैं कि हमको ऐसा लगता है कि what is their actual character, what is their actual personality, actually वो इंसान क्या है, क्या हमारे साथ वो behave करता है, that is just a दिखावा, it is just an outer act or a temporary act, or how that person is. When we become genuine, when we become honest, okay, when we become committed with our own self, that authenticity, that genuinity, that transparency, and that real you will always come out, and it will always show in your behavior. आप कैसे behave करते हो किसी के साथ, वो बहुत important है. और behavior के ऊपर काम करना हो तो सबसे पहले हमको we have to learn to give time to our own selves, because we are so lost, because we are so lost in the outer world, we don't know what real we are. We have to work on our thoughts, we have to work on our habits, we have to work on our actions, we have to work on our words. Okay, what is here, it's going to come out. What is inside is going to come out. Okay, here we have to work inside out and outside in. Appearance है वो outside in है. बाहर कुछ अच्छा करेंगे तो हमको अंदर अच्छा लगता है. आज मूड अच्छा नहीं है, अच्छे कपड़े पहन लिए तो हमारा मूड चेंज हो जाता है. So it is outside in, but behavior is inside out. Okay, make yourself humble. I understand कि हमारे पास बहुत सारी लाइफ के अंदर challenges हैं और हमारा कभी कभी ओरिजिनल जो नेचर होता है या जो हमारा कोर होता है, we tend to lose ourselves in life sometimes. Okay, so very very important that we take care of our own self, our inner self, our emotional self, our mental self. So behavior is all about your mental fitness, your emotional fitness, your emotion can tell you. Okay, so work on your behavior. Okay, number one, creating impression is number one is the appearance. How do we appear? Because that is the first thing a person is going to see, and it takes only 7 seconds for a person to make an impression. Okay, number two, behavior. Okay, I have seen many people saying sorry like this. So I'm sorry. Okay, so you're smiling and you're saying sorry. Are you really sorry or you're not sorry? Okay, eyes speak a lot. Okay, whether we are honest, whether we are dishonest, हमारे मन के अंदर क्या है और हम क्या बोल रहे हैं, अगर वो sync में नहीं है तो our eyes will always express that. Okay, and that people understand, यार, God has given intelligence to everyone. सबको दिमाग दिया गया है, सबके पास इंटेलिजेंस है. हम समझते हैं कि लोगों को पता नहीं चलता है, लेकिन लोगों को सब पता चलता है. And that's where they decide whether I want to get connected to this person or not. हम कभी कभी लाइफ में किसी को मिलते हैं and we create a lifetime relationship with that person. Okay, we like that person, their aura is so positive that they catch us, right? And we connect with that person. और बहुत सारे लोग ऐसे लाइफ में मिलते हैं जो हम उनके साथ कनेक्ट ही नहीं कर पाते. That is all because of our behavior, which comes from our thoughts, which comes from our words, which comes from our actions, and which comes from our overall thinking pattern. And हमारा intent क्या है? What are we inside? Okay, so we should work on our mental fitness, as I said, on our emotional fitness, and on our spiritual fitness, which makes us a humble human being, which makes our behavior up to the mark. Okay, which makes our, I'm not talking here about body language, no, I'm talking about the behavior, the real you, the real us, the real I, which comes only from thoughts, words, and action. Okay, so that is what we have to work on. So number two is the behavior. So first was the appearance, second is the behavior. Now let me come to the third very important point, which is known as the communication. So we are working on the appearance, behavior, and communication. Okay, how does a communication create a everlasting impression? आज अगर आपने किसी को मैसेज किया और उसने देखा नहीं या जवाब नहीं दिया, तो we tend to create an impression of that person कि that person is careless, he or she is not bothered to reply the message. What did we do? We created an impression that this person is careless. right? So that's how the impressions are created. We all know that there are two types of communications. We all know that communications are very important. We all know that these things are important, but when it comes to implementation, no, we don't do that. हम दूसरों की कम्युनिकेशन के ऊपर कमेंट करते हैं, लेकिन हम अपनी कम्युनिकेशन के ऊपर काम नहीं करते हैं. फ्रेंड्स, इवन पीपल आर फॉर्मिंग इम्प्रेशन अबाउट यू. Like you are forming impressions about them, you are judging them, you are making an image of them, they are also making an image of you. So if you don't like something, if you don't like how they are communicating, how will they like how you are communicating? Right? So number three is work on your communication. Now I'm going to talk to you about two types of communication, which is verbal and non-verbal. Right? We all again know this, but there are so many small big things which we overlook. हमारे काम के अंदर, हमारे वर्क के अंदर और हमारे रिलेशनशिप में समटाइम्स अ सिंपल थैंक यू मैसेजेस भी हम लोग भूल जाते हैं देना. देते हैं तो बहुत दिनों बाद देते हैं जब उसका इम्पोर्टेंस नहीं रहता है. ओके, we have to do things, right things at the right time. Okay, we do not have, okay, we have to do right things. Such important part in creating a first impression. And whenever you go to meet somebody, the way you talk, the way you express yourself, the words which you use, it's very, very important. Okay, क्या है मतलब हम तो कर लेते हैं, हम अच्छा बोल लेते हैं, as कि हम कौन सी चीज कैसे बोलते हैं, which is very, very important. Okay, which words are we using, what is the tone of it, what is the modulation of it, what is the pitch of it, high low जो हम बोलते हैं वो pitch कैसा है हमारा. काफी चीजें ऐसी होती हैं. It creates that kind of impression. How do you, what words are we using and how are we using, that is very, very important. These days we are into technology, we are into emails. A lot of time emails, because the person is not able to see you. Okay, the person has not communicated to you. He or she is going to see your email, he or she is going to see your SMS, he or she is going to see your WhatsApp. What kind of words are we using in a WhatsApp? What kind of, people use emojis in a professional relationship. That is killing the communication, that is killing the professionalism. Okay, so what kind of emojis or what kind of signs are we using, whether we are writing bold, whether we are writing capitals, whether in full stop, क्या हम लोग कैसे communicate करते हैं. Every word, every aspect, it creates an impression about you. Okay, so we should also be working on the communication part, which is the verbal communication part, on our emails, on our all the social media. Like आजकल तो Facebook profile कैसा है वो भी important हो गया है, because again a person is not able to see you. पहले जब आपको मिलते हैं उससे पहले वो सबसे पहले आपका फेसबुक प्रोफाइल देखते हैं, आपका लिंक्डइन प्रोफाइल देखते हैं. दैट इज अगेन अ कम्युनिकेशन. व्हाट वर्ड्स हैव यू यूज्ड ओवर देयर टू कम्युनिकेट व्हाट यू आर, टू इंट्रोड्यूस योर ओन सेल्फ. दैट इज अगेन वेरी, वेरी important. The second part of communication is the non-verbal communication. There comes the body language. So behavior and non-verbal communication, दोनों चीजें अलग है. Behavior again will come from our thoughts, from our habits, from our words, from our actions, and the non-verbal communication will come from the body language. Again, body language is something which we can learn. Okay, how to sit, how to stand, where to stand. If you are in a conference, if you are in a public premises, where to stand. Okay, how to give help to somebody. कि किसी को help दे रहे हैं लेकिन इसके ऊपर हम दया नहीं कर रहे हैं. How to use that body language, उसको कैसे हम यूज करेंगे ताकि उसको ऑफेंसिव ना लगे, उसको ऐसे ना लगे कि हम उसके ऊपर दया कर रहे हैं और स्टिल उसको हम मदद कर सके. So there are a lot of non-verbal communication signs which we have to use, a lot of non-verbal communication gestures which we use, your facial expressions, your hand movements, your legs, how do we stand, how do we sit, everything is creating a first impression. ओके जब हम इंटरव्यू में जाते हैं या किसी को फॉर एग्जांपल हम एज अ क्लाइंट किसी को मिलने जाते हैं, हम लोग क्या करते हैं, हम मतलब हम जनरली लोगों की बात कर रही हूँ, आई एम नॉट टॉकिंग अबाउट यू और मी राइट नाउ बिकॉज वी आर कॉन्शियस, वी आर केयरफुल, बट व्हाट विल पीपल डू, दे विल स्टार्ट पुटिंग देयर ओन फाइल्स एंड डायरीज एंड एवरीथिंग एंड इवन फोन्स on the table. Okay, now that is an MD's table, that is the CEO's table. We should not be putting our belongings on that. Do we know that? Yes, and sometimes when we know that, still we keep on doing that, right? So there are a lot of things now. This gesture of putting our belongings on somebody's table itself is communicating a lot of things without speaking even a single word. एक वर्ड हमने नहीं बोला है, लेकिन ऑफिस में एंटर होने के बाद हमने कैसे चेयर को ड्रैग किया, उसको कैसे पुल किया, कैसे हम उसके ऊपर बैठे और कैसे सारी चीजें टेबल के ऊपर जमा कर दी. That itself is creating a very, 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 very big impression. Now, you can understand what kind of impression it is carrying. Because the table is not ours, it is the MD's table, it is somebody else's table. Yes, if it is a conference room, you can put your belongings over there. Okay, so this is all communication, your non-verbal communication, which is your gestures, your facial expressions, and your body movements. What is the difference between a gesture and a posture? Okay, gesture is if you want to offer tea to somebody, how do you offer it? ये लीजिए, मतलब the facial expression and your hand movement, वो दोनों आता है, ठीक है. And posture is how do you sit, how do you stand. हम लोग कभी कभी कॉन्फ्रेंस के अंदर या मीटिंग के अंदर थोड़ा रिलैक्स हो जाते हैं, and we tend to move such and we tend to sit in certain positions which is not appropriate to, you know, in a meeting or in a conference or in a long meetings. So we should always be careful on the posture of what we are working. Okay, so non-verbal communication has facial expressions, has gestures, and has body languages, and they communicate a lot of things. So two parts. एक अभी आप सोचो, अपीयरेंस के बारे में हमने बात की बिहेवियर के बारे में, और हमने बात की कम्युनिकेशन के बारे में. अगर किसी का अपीयरेंस बहुत अच्छा हो लेकिन बोलने का टोन उसका सरकास्टिक हो, ओके, पोलाइट ना हो, सरकास्टिक मतलब टॉन्ट वाला या कुछ डबल मीनिंग वाला ऐसा हो, तो क्या उसकी इंप्रेशन एक अच्छी इंप्रेशन बनेगी? If a person is wearing branded clothes and the person doesn't know how to sit, okay, legs cross करके रखना है, सीधा रखना है, लंबा पैर करके रखना है, कैसे बैठना है, if person is not sitting appropriately, if the posture is not appropriate, what kind of an impression a person is creating? A person, third example, a person has ultra good communication skills but bal shabby hair, doesn't know how to dress herself or himself, and just walks in a meeting like that or walks in a conference like that, तो कैसा feel होता है? Does it create a total impression, a total good impression? So a good impression is your appearance, your behavior, and your communication all put together. Okay, and we have to work on all these areas to create that lasting impression. So only working on one एक चीज पे अगर काम किया और दूसरे पे नहीं किया, it's not going to bring any kind of balance. And we got to balance all the things together and work on it. Okay, so now, as I told you before, that it takes only 7 seconds for a person to create that everlasting first impression. ठीक है, आप उस इंसान को 10 बार मिलेंगे, every 10 times you are creating an impression. Okay, पहली बार आपको इंसान इंपीरियल होटल में मिलता है, 5 स्टार 4 स्टार में मिलता है, तो आप क्या पहन के जाते हो, आपका जेस्चर कैसा, वेटर के साथ कैसे बात करते हो, and internally आप कैसे बात करते हो. See, communication, I wanted to mention one more thing, कि communication is not only speaking nicely, it is also how are you interacting. 5 लोग 6 लोग अगर मीटिंग के अंदर है, तो हम किसके साथ कितनी बात कर रहे हैं, that is also part of communication. ओके हम लोग एक कॉन्फ्रेंस में गए हैं और हम नेटवर्किंग करते ही नहीं है, हम अलूफ खड़े हैं एक कोने के अंदर, क्योंकि हमको we don't know what to speak, we don't know where to start, we don't know how to start, we have no idea, we hesitate in talking, and that's why we don't start a conversation. But people are watching this, people are creating an impression, they are making a judgment कि ये इंसान is not a person who would interact with people. Correct. So that's how it is created. So working on all these areas, like I said, the appearance, behavior, and communication creates an impression. Okay. That's what I wanted to share with all of you कि कैसे हम लोग अपना एक impression create कर सकते हैं. मैं फिर से एक बार बताऊंगी कि impression create करना मतलब see we don't want it for praise. Okay, ठीक है, वो हम कर लेंगे manage, वो थोड़ी देर के लिए होगा, वो temporary होगा. But we are doing this exercise, we are taking this efforts, we are taking this pain because we want to interact with people. Why? Because we want to work with people. We are social human beings. We cannot be alone in this world, right? So we are learning the art and science of this so that we are accepted more. कैसा होगा अगर हम बैक टू बैक ट्रैवल करते हैं और बैक टू बैक मीटिंग्स करते हैं, बैक टू बैक नए नए क्लाइंट से मिलते हैं एंड वी क्लोज द डील सक्सेसफुली थ्रू आवर प्रेजेंटेशन, थ्रू आवर कम्युनिकेशन, हमारा सब कुछ एट पार है, आवर लाइफ विल बी सक्सेसफुल. We are doing this to have a relationship, okay, whether it is personal or whether it is professional or whether it is a business relationship, but we want a relationship. I mean, when we meet a person, we are meeting for the first time, it's a meeting. उसमें अगर कुछ click होता है, तो we go for a second meeting, we go for a third meeting, fourth meeting, and we close the deal. Sometimes we close the deal in first meeting also, if you are able to manage, if you are able to create that impression. Okay, so if you see a first an impression is the whole you, is not only a some part of you. Okay, it's not only you go for a meeting, you dress yourself very very well, but then you are not prepared for the meeting, then what is the point? So preparation of the meeting, okay, their presentation comes in the communication part, verbal communication and non-verbal communication, because what you will be talking, what words you will be using, how will you be using, where will you be using, with whom will you be talking, everything is your verbal communication. And your non-verbal communication will be your gestures, your postures, the way you're sitting, the way you lift your coffee ka mug, the way you'll have snacks, the way you lift the glass to drink water is also communication. Yes, it is. Everything we do is communicating. Every minute it is communicating. Whether we agree it or we don't agree it, we believe it or we don't believe it, but it is communicating. It is creating one impression. It is creating a message. It is giving some message. See, it's giving some message. Okay, I have seen people. कभी कभी क्या करते हैं, ऐसे 3-4 लोग ऐसे होते हैं, तो suppose they are going, okay, some beggar is coming. Now internally that person does not want to give money, okay, but because 2-3 are there and one of them gave the money, this guy will also remove some money and give it to the beggar. The way he will give that money to the beggar, okay, his whole gesture or the body language will speak a lot, whether that person is genuinely helping the beggar or सिर्फ दिखावा कर रहा है. So हमको दिखावा नहीं करना है, हमको genuine create करनी है, so that people like. So yes, this is what I wanted to talk about this. I have been working a lot for image management with people, brand management for the people, and I have been working with a lot of clients, lot of individuals and lot of organizations. क्योंकि काफी सारी चीजें ऐसी है कि वो मैसेज पास करती है, okay? आपके बारे में कुछ मैसेज बताती है, आपके बारे में कुछ कहती है, आपका एक लेटर है, आपका एक ईमेल है, आपका एक बिजनेस प्रपोजल है, वो आप नहीं जाते हो, पहले एक मेल जाता है, एक ईमेल जाता है, वो भी कुछ कम्युनिकेट करता है आपके बारे में, आपकी पर्सनालिटी के बारे में, आपके थिंकिंग के बारे में और आपके ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के बारे में. दैट्स हाउ इट कम्युनिकेट्स. सो every step of our life, as we start evolving, as we start progressing, it is also very very important to work on all these areas. Now this is my favorite subject, because this is my favorite topic and I've been doing this in so many years. And I जब लोगों को ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन मिलता है, जब लोगों को चेंज मिलता है and their lives becomes happier and more successful, they are like इतनी, they come back and tell me कि ये कितनी छोटी चीज है जो हमको लगती थी इसका क्या importance हो सकता है. We tend to ignore that many times, but that creates a lot of importance and a lot of impact. Okay, we don't know how does it create, because every person, each and every individual will have a different way of perceiving things, of taking things, of creating that impression. But yeah, it does matter. Okay, so each and everything counts on this, and this is what I wanted to share with all of you, that we want to create a lasting impression, great impression, and we want our life to be happier and successful. We have to work on these three areas, and this is what we can do. We can work on the appearance part, we can work on the behavior part, and we can work on the communication part, and that's how we create a lasting impression. So these are the three secrets which I wanted to share with all of you today on this platform. And I thank RMA for giving me this wonderful opportunity, and let me speak on this. And thank you so much for having me here. And over to the host of the evening. Thank you so much. If you have any questions, I'm ready to take that. Thank you.
Thank you. We do have a question like in the initial few minutes itself. It is from Kirit Trivedi.
Okay.
He's appreciating your presentation, and it is a similar question that one student asked you. If your first impression is
Yes.
already printed in someone's mind, how can you replace it?
Sorry. Can you come again, please?
Uh, if your first impression is already printed in someone's mind, how can you replace it with your new and artistic behavior?
See, and what? How can you create new and?
Artistic behavior. Replace
Okay,
it.
so as I said, that this is again an art and science. Okay, now if a first impression is already created, I said every time you meet a person, every time you interact with that person, every time you communicate with that person, you are creating an impression. Okay, we know that first impression. See, you will never get a second chance to create the first impression. Okay, you will never get a second chance to create first impression. ठीक है, अभी first impression हो गया है, लेकिन every time we meet that person, every time we are interacting, we are again creating an impression. Now if we start learning and implementing the art and science of doing that, we can change that impression. Okay, we can learn the skills of doing that. See, this is again art and science. Now art is how you do it and science is what you do it. So you need to understand first कि हमको क्या करना चाहिए और उसके बाद उसको कैसे करना चाहिए. So suppose communication skills है, तो वो हमको पहले सीखनी पड़ेगी, उसका साइंस सीखना पड़ेगा. से रिटन कम्युनिकेशन है तो उसका साइंस सीखना पड़ेगा, बॉडी लैंग्वेज है तो उसका साइंस सीखना पड़ेगा, एंड देन यू विल पुट आर्ट इनटू इट. Every person is different in implementing. Okay, every person has its own individual way of implementing, so that's where you put your art and you club both the things and create an impression. Okay, so again I would like to say that impression is not something okay you want to put that impression on the stage or something like that. It is in general. Okay, so you have to build in yourself, you have to acquire that skills, you have to understand that skills, learn those skills and start implementing. See, if you learn body language and if you don't implement it, what is the point? Right, it should come in your everyday behavior. That's why the second part is the behavior. The first is appearance, second is behavior, and the third is communication. Right, so it should come in your behavior. Whether you are at home or you are in the office, you should have your graceful body language, you should have a graceful gesture. That's what it comes. Okay, just 1 second. Yes, so that's what is important. Yes, Forum, can we have a second question?
Yeah,
Yes.
so there are people appreciating the presentation. Other than I don't find any questions. If somebody has, they can unmute and ask.
Okay.
So your first question
Yes,
was on who is from outside Gujarat. So we had one answer on that.
outside Gujarat, I want to know where where is the person
From
from?
Jagdish Khatri. He's from
Acha.
Chandigarh, Local Management Association. Chandigarh Local Management.
Okay. Yes, please. What is your question?
So no, there are compliments for you. Thank you for doing this. We are great to have you here today, and a small talk on being little conscious about how we present ourselves. And we
Correct.
have with us now recently joined our past chairman and chairman Deepak Sajde and Chetan Kothari with us. Any final
Okay.
words from you, and then I can conclude and announce our upcoming session. Yes, Chetan bhai, if anything from your side as a last remarks.
Yeah, I'm very, very happy to learn a lot of new things, which probably we all need to learn. Because first impression, as always, Dharti, when I met her first time, she put a lasting impression, and she is living by the words which she is already having. I'm very happy that
Thank you.
Jagdish Khatriji, Jagdish Khatriji, wonderful friend, and a very senior management person from Chandigarh has taken pains to
Okay.
attend our local management association's event, and I certainly want him to speak few words on behalf of the local management there, as well as forum please on his video and audio, so that we can hear wonderful words, the words of wisdom from Khatriji.
Hello.
Yes, sir, you are audible and visible.
Yeah. Oh. Some outside disturbances are there. So, hello.
Yes, audible.
Thank you, Chetan bhai. Namaskar. Yeah. And I must congratulate Rajkot Management Association for such wonderful programs. And the whole week you are having programs like that. So, and it was a very nice presentation by Dharti madam. And
Thank you so much.
I have been conducting similar things, but there was a lot to learn from you, madam, today.
Thank you.
Although
Thank you.
I am also a trainer, but
Oh, lovely.
there is always something more to learn, and
Correct.
you presented it very nicely.
Thank you.
Only thing is that this ABC, you can call it ABC of first
Correct.
impressions, isn't it?
Correct.
You
Correct.
can
Correct.
rename it
Correct.
appearance, behavior, communication, and
Correct.
then add D for development. If you follow ABC, then you develop
Correct.
good relations, and
Correct.
that leads to E, that is excellence. Okay.
Correct.
And if ABCDE is followed, then it is excellence. But if any one of that is missing, then it is F, that is failure.
Failure. Right. Correct. Correct.
So I just thought you can use this also as a
Sure. Sure.
acronym.
Thank
Okay.
you.
So thank you, Chetan bhai.
Yeah.
Namaskar.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Wonderful seeing your wonderful face. Your appearance is in my heart. I would request Deepak Bhai Sachdev to spare some time with us and give his inputs and thanksgiving for Dharti Bhai. Deepak Bhai, please unmute your mic.
Good evening, everybody, and most welcome to all the participants during this program in our third program in a series. And I also welcome our today's speaker, Dharti Rathod, and we'll be waiting for her to in another 45 minutes to learn from her all new ideas. Welcome, Dharti. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you all. Wonderful session, and thank you, Khatriji, for codifying it into ABCDF. Wonderful insights. I'll brief about tomorrow's session, and then we may officially close this. So tomorrow's topic is on demystifying digital transformation, and it is all about the digital transformation in our companies, how it is more prominent in this time. And the speaker is Viral Raval. He's a digital transformation coach, and he has this vast experience of 29 years and has worked with Gartner, Suzlon, Wipro, General Motors, Larsen and Turbo company, such MNCs, and we are having this session tomorrow at 4:30 to 5:30, and do join us. You can mention your email ID in the chat box, and I can, if in case you're not aware about this series, and uh, you can mention your email ID in the chat box, and we can get back to you with all the details. I'll close it in next 30 seconds. Thank you all for coming.